So if you can see this here, right there, I just took my knife and carved out just a little pilot hole, and that's going to be my starter for my first notch. Alright, so we got our material set up right over here, and we're going to get started. So first thing to do is we're going to drill out a hole in our fireboard for our notch. Looks like this. It's arguably the toughest part. Alright guys. Whew. Okay, so there it is. There's what you're used to seeing with bow drilling. There's that's starting a hole to put a notch in to then collect your punk to form an ember. So right now what I'm looking for, even at this step, is I was checking the color of that punk. I don't know if you can see it, but it's a dark, like a coffee brown color, and slightly stringy like eraser shavings. Not ideal. Fluffier kind of chocolate brown punk is what I really like, but you don't get that with a lot of wood types. So we're gonna keep working with what we got here, because I don't know what kind of woods these are, and like I said, I don't need to know that. We're gonna keep rolling with what we got. Our next step is to cut our notch, and that's gonna be like a little pizza pie, going from the middle, or near the middle of the hole to the outside of the board. And I'll just cut that right in with my my pocket saw, and we'll get right back with you. Alright guys, so here's my notch. Now there are some very important design features in this notch, and this comes from years of experience and quite literally hundreds of embers as an instructor. So if you notice here, you can see that this notch is flared toward the bottom. That's going to it's going to direct the punk toward here. It's going to make that nice conical shape for the coal that we want, so that that it'll be steady and able to stand on its own once we take away the board. And also it's just a cleaner, more efficient way, in my opinion. So you notice I didn't go all the way into the middle of this thing. There you can kind of see where I'm at, but don't want to go too far in because you don't want to break your board. You don't want to weaken the board. So I think I can probably get 2 tries out of this to hopefully get a coal. Now another important thing, kind of one of those pro tips that you don't hear too many places, is what's called flossing the notch. So inside of there, where we just used that saw, even though it doesn't look super ragged, there are just all sorts of fibers and ends of the wood there that are sticking through and sticking kind of out, and those are just there waiting to catch that punk as it falls. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my shirt, kind of fold it over in a nice bunch there, and I'm going to take the board and run the board up it like that. And what that's in theory doing is it's just going to hopefully tame those wood fibers down a little bit. I don't know that it helps, but I have tried it both ways and found that sometimes it can actually help a little bit, or at least it seemed that way. So I do it every time. It definitely can't hurt. So I'm gonna get set back up down here, and we'll see if we can't get an ember. Now, I think I've got one. Before I take out, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tap that spindle inside of that notch to hopefully aerate it. Now, I think I lost the coal. Yeah, she didn't take. Stop smoking, so hop back in there and try to keep going. Figured that was a little early for one to take. Still no ember. And that notch is run through, so I'm gonna get another one rounded up. Let's see what we got. All right, so we've now cut notch number 2. There it is, flossed, ready to go. So now over here at my setup, we've got a nice little pile of the punk that we gathered from this notch here that we didn't get a coal from. That can still be used. Save your punk. Don't blow it away. Don't do that. Save it, because now I can just put it in this notch and I'm already a step ahead. That's less energy I have to use to burn to build that punk that then becomes an ember. I've already got some over there. So I'm gonna put it into the notch, not too tight. You don't pack it in too tight, just kind of scoop some in loosely, and then you'll continue to build some on top of it, and we'll see what we get this time. Alright, so we're going to give it one more go with the spindle that I started with, that I've been using. And because it is the same type of wood as the fireboard, I know that because I found them attached to each other. And if it doesn't work with this go round, I'm going to switch to this other spindle that we found out here with us. I'm not going to use the yucca yet because I didn't find it here. I would like to get a coal with one of these too. But if you have multiple spindles, remember to use them. Don't get blindsided by the mission and forget to use your resources. Oh, that was close. The dreaded fader. That was a close one. The way I can tell if I think I've got one, basically, is this pile of punk will be smoking from the top, and then once it gets really hot, that smoke will start rolling out from the bottom of it and from just all within it, and that's how you know it's starting to get there. Usually when you see that, you should keep going through your ABCs, most people say. Just do your ABCs one time through. 2 times if you want to be safe, but you know, like I said, I'm trying to go based on the skills I picked up 1,200 miles away in a completely different climate with different wood. So we're just seeing where we go here, but we're getting close. Alright, so that other spindle's a little small for this particular hole, so we're gonna have to switch back to this guy for now and probably make a separate notch for that one. we got one. Oh man, okay. Let me bring you close here. See that guy? So that's an ember. Coal, ember, whatever you want to call it. They will last for a minute, depending on what type of wood. I think these are pine type woods that I'm using, so those coals tend to last a while. So let's get it in the center bundle and try to blow it up into something. We got a little more tender here. Oh yeah, that's a good one. Another important tip is that I have this on a leaf. I busted the coal onto a leaf so that it's an easy transfer. Thinking ahead, you know. So this thing is, see, it's still going there. I could almost let the wind do this today. Gentle breath. And there we go. So started with gentle breaths, and as I felt that thing heating up, I just went ahead and gave it a couple of real good hard ones. But I'm gonna go ahead and stomp this out. Before I cause any trouble here. So there's bow drilling. So just to recap, I started with woods that I was not familiar with. I still don't know what they were. I used only a pocket saw and pocket knife, and got everything that I needed, essentially, besides the things that we talked about earlier, which I will end up doing a tutorial on, I promise. But for now, that was a really basic look at bow drilling. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section, and we'll see you next time.